So till now we have seen how we are going to how we are going to take input and how we can manually store data in our internal table. Now my question is, how am I going to bring data from the database? How we are going to bring the data from the database and store it in the internal table? Any suggestion? Is any suggestion on this? How we are going to do that? Any suggestion?
We can read it line by line from the database by putting it in a work area, and this work area will fill the internal table.
Do you think a read operation is going to work on a table, or it is a internal table operation?
Not sure.
Read is the internal table, right? Read is the internal table operation. Did I ever explain that we can use read on table? No, never.
No.
Read is just an internal table operation. That why we are using internal table? Because we cannot directly perform any operation on table. It will be completely meaningless. It can destroy my data, right?
Yes.
So instead of performing everything, we know that we are going to bring data. So this is my question, how we are going to bring that? This is a very good question. So before answering that, I will have a topic called classical report. Classical report. What is classical report? So reports are executable programs. Just see the answer. Reports are executable programs that read the data from the database, processes the data, and displays the data in the required format. Now, what is classical report? So, classical reports are the most basic ABAP reports in which we display the output using write statement. Is this thing clear? Using write statement. Okay. Here we are going to see two screens, input screen or selection screen, and the second one will be our output screen, which will be displaying our data on the output screen, which will be displaying our data. Now the question here is how we are going to bring the data from the database. Question is same, how we are going to bring them.
I think we can loop through the database table into the database table into this database table into
into
to the
work
structure
area.
and
So
the
if
work
I am
area.
going to write, let's say I'm going to write loop at my employee table, is it going to work? Into, let's say, some work area. What do you think? Is it a meaningful thing to performing loop directly over table? If I can do directly something on my table, then what is the need of internal table? Never. This is never an approach. The answer for your question is we are going to use SQL queries. You guys might have heard it. The data. Okay. Now, what is ABAP, guys? What is ABAP? ABAP is a object-oriented programming language which utilizes the features of Java, C++, and SQL. It is okay. 3 different and much more. They are updating it on a regular basis. We are going to use SQL to bring the data. What is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Okay. How many types of SQL? Now, how many types of SQL? First is your Open SQL or Open SQL. Second is your native SQL or SQL. So Open SQL is database independent. Then we have native SQL is database dependent. Now just read these two statements and tell me what kind of SQLs we are going to use inside our ABAP. What kind of SQL or SQL?
I think the Open SQL.
Can you tell me the reason for it? Think on that. The answer is directly in your mind, guys. Just you need to look on that. Very simple answer for it. Do you guys have worked on ECC?
Sorry, on what?
On ECC system. Do any of you have worked on ECC system?
No.
None?
Don't think so.
Okay, so have you ever worked on any other databases on your SAP like Oracle, Sybase or anything that must be there?
Yes, on
MySQL.
Right?
Yeah,
database,
MySQL.
yeah.
Okay, MySQL database. Currently, we are getting training on our HANA database. So what is the meaning of database independent? If my code is not going to work on MySQL database or Oracle database, what is the meaning of ABAP code? If my ABAP code is different on both the databases, it will be completely meaningless, right? My code should execute on every kind of database. It doesn't matter. So we use Open SQL in ABAP programming. Okay.
Yes. I just remembered. It's because it should be cross-platform.
Yeah,
it should work cross-platform. So even if you change your database, then like you said, your ABAP program should still work with all the SQL operations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Perfect. Perfect. Right. So we are going to write queries to bring data. So let's write some query and let's see how we are going to perform. And let's see it. I'll go for IC38. So what should I do? SQL ABAP code. Understand bringing data from database now. bringing data. I'll go for executable because we always need queries. SQL is the only language which is used on any database. That is why ABAP is the combination of much more very different kind of programming language. So as usual, we will need a structure. So I'm going to create a structure. So if I go to my, let's go for some standard table, guys. We are also playing with custom alternate. I'm going for sales order header table. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm let's say selecting some columns from here. Let's say I'm selecting these columns. Okay. How will I define a structure for it? If I have to define a structure, how will I do? Types begin of ty type. Let's say I'm naming it VBAK now, right? Then what I do? I give the name of my column, its type, followed by its data element. Then we go for ERDAT, its type, its data element, ERZDT, its type and data element, ERNUM, its type and data element. Then I will go for, let's say, AUDAT also, AUDAT type, its data element. And at last I will have this VBTYP, which is your document category for sales order. So type its data element VBTYPL, and I will end end of comma end of TYVBAK. Perfect, no error. Then I will define my internal table. So LTVBAK type table of TY underscore VBAK. It's work area. So LSVBAK type TY underscore VBAK. Let's check for syntax. No error. Let's check how much data is there in our standard table. Only 3 data. Okay, no problem. I've got 3 data here. So let's check what we are going to do. How will I define a parameter? This is how a parameter, right? So what is the primary key of my sales order header? What is the primary key? This is my primary key, right? VBELN, sales document number. So P VBELN, type its data element, pin paste. Then we will bring the data based on this value, based on this value. Now just see it, guys, based on this value, how we are going to bring the data. So we will write select query. So select, see, one way is directly perform the star, directly go for star. Now the problem with star is going to bring all the columns of your table. How many columns are there? Just see this. How many columns are there? 255, right? 255. And just think on that. How many times you are going to use 255 columns in any project? We barely use 10 to 15 columns in a project of any table, right? So is there any meaning of bringing all the data from the database for all these 255 columns, right? This is completely meaningless. My code will become lengthy. My application will become completely heavy, right? Application layer become heavy. There is no meaning of it. So instead of that, what we can do is we will only bring those columns which are necessary. So which I need in this structure. Why I'm bringing all the data? So ERDAT, okay, ERZDT, ERZDT, ERNUM, AUDAT, and VBTYP. Okay, from what is the name of your table? VBAK, VBAK into table. This is just a keyword. All of them are keyword, right? Everything that is in blue color is a keyword. So into table, your internal table name in which you are going to store, into internal table name in which you are going to store, where your VBELN, that is your primary key, VBELN is equal to the input given by the user. This is a parameter. Is this something difficult? Is
No.
this something
No.
difficult? Nothing is difficult in ABAP, guys. My only suggestion is it is just lengthy in nature. Nothing is difficult here. So I have got my data in internal table, right? Based on the input given by the user. I can now display it, right? I can perform any action that I want. So loop add LTVBAK into LSVBAK. That is why I do not much prefer this direct standard table because all of their names are in German. Okay, and we are mostly we usually prefer the English language. That is why it becomes more confusing to understand these standard things, right? So loop at LTVBAK into LSVBAK and loop, and then I will display the data. Right, LSVBAK hyphen VBLN LSVBAK ERDAT LSVBAK ERZDT LSVBAK ERNUM LSVBAK AUDAT LSVBAK VBTYP. Okay, simple, right? Let's go for syntax check. Activate it, execute it. I'm let's say giving value 1 as I have only 3 data in my table. I don't know why there is only 3 data, but this is just a demo system for practice purpose. So there is no meaning of all these things. So I'll go for 1, execute. Can you see? Right? I'm able to get the data. Right? I'm able to get the data, all these columns. For how does it is getting us? Just put a debugger here. Go for execute, put here 1, go for debug mode. And in the debugging, you can check it how it is actually working. What is the value given by user? 1. Are you able to understand why this much 0 is coming?
Yeah, because this variable maybe has the
Yes,
length.
its length
This
is character 10. If you will go, the length of your VBLN is character 10. That
yes.
is why you are getting 9 zeros before your 1. Now just see here, if you will click on F6, you will double click on LTVBAK, just see all the data is coming. From where it is coming? It is coming from your database table, right? It is bringing data from your database table. Now the question you might think that why it is only bringing 1 row? Because there is only 1 data, right? In your table, it is only 1 data for 1, right? Is this thing clear?
Yes.
Then we are simply displaying it. This is how we actually bring the data from our database using parameters. Now how we will go for select option. How we are going for select option. So let's comment this parameter. I am defining select option now. So I will need a variable as usual. So variable I will define. LV VBLN. Its type, I will give its data element. And then I will this time define a select options as VBLN for it, for my variable of VBLN, LV VBLN. Now how am I going to write my query for my select option? Same to same, no difference. VBLN, ERDAT, ERZET, ERNUM, AUDAT, VBUTYP, which is document category, from your VBAK table into table LTVBAK, where VBLN is equal to SVBLN. Is my code going to work? If I am writing the same to same query, is my code going to work? Same to same query for select option also. Think on that. Is my code going to work? Mukul Allen, is my code going to work if I'm going to write same to same query here?
I think this will have to be looped through.
No loop. Again, please, we are writing query. There is no meaning of loop here.
Yeah,
One
I
of
mean
the
the
best
value.
programming practices is never
Yes.
ever use select queries inside the loop. Okay. So what the problem here is, we are going for range, and here I'm passing equal to. Equal to is strictly comparing thing. So we cannot direct go for equal to. Instead we use in here. Okay. Oh, sorry. Instead we use in here. Instead of equal to, we use in for select option. Now go for syntax check, activate, go for execute, pass your value 1 to 3 and see all the data. Right? Okay. This is how we can get the data based on parameter and based on select option also. Now one thing, just think on that. How many data we are bringing when we are using parameter on header table? How many record? How many record we are bringing? When we are going for parameters, how many record we are bringing, or row? Only one, right? Because this code is on header table VBAK, it will have only one record, only one row. So can I directly use my work area, as my work area can also store one record at a time? But is there any meaning of using internal table if I am only bringing one row? Think on that. Can I store it directly in work area? If I am bringing only one row, I know it that only one row is
Yes.
going to come. Can I do
Only
it?
one row only should work, yeah.
Yes, we can do it. We can do it. There will be only a little change here in the code. Select VBLN, ERDAT, ERZDT, ERNUM, AUDAT, PBTYP from my table name, which is VBAK, into, we are using here table, which is showing its reference to the internal table, but here we are not using internal table. That is why we will directly use the work area name. Okay, into LSVBAK, where VBLN is equal to PVBLN. Is this code correct? Hmm? Is this code correct? No, still there is some missing. Just see it. Incorrect nesting. What it is saying? For select, there must be a and select. The reason here is you are referring for work area, but this is not able to understand. Still it is trying to bring multiple rows, and that is why it is not able to store it inside the work area. So for if you are going to store in a single work area, you will use here single keyword. Now your code is correct. Single keyword. Okay. So you can also bring and store the data in a work area also. Totally depends upon you. And you can display it. Just copy this code, comment this loop, and paste it here. Just see if it is working or not. Execute 1, or let's say 2 this time. Just see here. Okay. You can bring it. Totally depends upon you. 3 ways to bring the data. We use the parameter, bring the data in the internal table, perform the loop, and do whatever you want. Second one is go for select option. You can bring the multiple records. Third is you can directly bring the single record and store it in the work area, right? Is this thing clear, or still there is any doubt?
It's clear to me.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Mhm.
So this much is enough for today, and we will continue from tomorrow.